Now it's time for a little fantasy football. We got our guy D Nasty back from the Packer game last night. Oh, the Jets, Dave. I'm so sorry.
I know it's a tough loss. Still a good time, but it was a tough loss. A lot of upsets yesterday, though, too. So the Packers weren't the only ones getting beat that they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, it did seem like a lot of upsets somehow. I don't know what the heck happened last week. Survivors just got absolutely freaking torched. And,
Oh, totally.
name of the game, I guess, less than 10%. Most survivors are available, even. It's crazy. But man, I want to ask you, were you there after the game where Sauce Gardner came out in the cheese hat and started patronizing the crowd a little bit?
Yeah, I know, but I did see that. It was actually kind of funny.
Oh man, that is. I think he was just having a good time. I don't think
I
he
think
meant
so
any
too.
ill will.
There's nothing wrong with that. I like it.
Yeah, he has cheese hat on, so it's not like he was making fun of it though. But that was pretty cool experience to be there. But I mean, the Jets. I mean, was there a lot of Jets fans there?
There was quite a few actually, and then I talked to a lot of them after the game. Then too, when we were at some establishments after, and yeah, they were all pretty cool actually.
Establishments after you look a little rough.
Yeah, they were a little rough.
You'll be fine. I'm kidding. Well, thanks for coming on. Obviously, we had a hiatus because I had to take a vacation in the middle of the season. Wah, wah, wah. But you know how it is. We are back, and there's some bye weeks, aren't there, Dave?
There is some major buys this week. You're going to have a couple of the top running backs and then the top quarterback out this week with some of these buys that are coming through, which I'll go over right now. Buffalo Bills, we got some major players in that game. Josh Allen, that's the most major one, and Stephon Diggs. So you got one of the top 5 running backs, or top 5 quarterback, and a top 5 receiver. Devin Singletary, you might be setting him in some leagues as well. And then Los Angeles Rams, you got Matthew Stafford there, Cam Akers, who's not playing right now. But you got Cooper Kupp, who's a top 3 receiver right there. So another major buy. And then there's Tyler Higbee, too, one of the top tight ends. Dawson Knox for the Bills, too. Some people might be starting him now that he's back and healthy. So some major players there, a couple top tight ends, too. Minnesota Vikings, you got Irv Smith, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, another top 5 wideout. So not a good week for the top fantasy players this week on buys. Then we also have Philadelphia. We have Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and we have AJ
Sanders.
Brown as well, and Michael Sanders as well. Yeah, so some major players in that game too. So a lot of buys that are going to hurt some teams this week. But we'll talk about who you can replace those with on the waiver wire coming up here shortly.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, the Bills, the Rams, the Vikings, the Eagles. First of all, you got the best receiver in the league, Cooper Kupp with the Rams.
And the second best in Jefferson.
Yeah, and people start the Stafford still, people were starting Daryl Henderson a lot because Cam Akers went crazy. So there you go. Yeah, the Vikings, Dalvin Cook and Cousins and Jefferson. Jesus, man. It's just crazy with the Bills and the Eagles there. It's like the best 4 teams in the league almost, minus the Rams. They're bad right now, but the Vikings are doing well. So 2 of the best 4 at least. So that's interesting. Well, man, let's get right into key injuries here. And I just have 5 written down. Maybe you have more. I'm going to start with Carson Wentz. His team got upgraded due to his injury by breaking his finger. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. But I'll tell you, man, Heineke's probably better than him.
Oh, Heineke, I think it is better than him. And with the weapons that they have now, I think Heineke could do pretty well. So I don't think Wentz gets his job back even when he comes back, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see how Heineke plays the next couple weeks.
Well, it's against the Packers, and they're going to be pretty upset. So I find that interesting. I'd rather play against Wentz personally. I mean, the Bears outgained this team by 170 yards last week and still lost. But man, is that Redskins Commanders team bad. Marquise Brown hurt his foot. He might miss some time here with the Cardinals. And they made a trade for Robbie Anderson. There was a lot of fireworks in L.A. during that game, and he got kicked right out of the game. Obviously, some pardoning shots on the way out. You can see a little bit on camera, and it was interesting that he got traded today. I thought he might just get cut, but a team actually wanted him, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It was only for a 6th and a 7th round pick, though, so they didn't really give up much for him.
He's not good. I'm not even thinking that it should be much of a fantasy game. Plus, DeAndre Hopkins might be back this week. From what I'm hearing, I think he is back.
He was activated today, actually.
Oh, that is huge for the Cardinals. Huge for fantasy owners. Finally, Well, there you go. Randall Cobb, high ankle sprain. Not looking good for him for a while. You were at the game, probably witnessed it.
Yes, I was.
Kenny Pickett had a concussion, and Mitch Trubisky filled in, did enough to beat the Bucs and ruin a bunch of survivors there. So there you go, including my own. And tight end Cameron Brate had another concussion, and now that it's his second year, he needs to be out a while, Dave. We're worried about Cameron Brate there. That's all I have. I don't have too many injuries unless you have some more.
Most of the same ones that you did. Skylar Thompson, who was starting for the Dolphins, right thumb injury for him as well. Tua did announce that he will be starting this week. He is coming back. Dak also reported this week that he will be starting on Sunday as well. So two injuries of note, that two quarterbacks that are coming back this week. So good news to report on the injury front for those two. They will both be starting on Sunday.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, finally, I wanted to see Tua back too, and Dak. Football's better with better quarterbacks, so let's hope that. I'm excited that is. But a really good week for like no big running back injuries, So I thought that was cool. Minus Cam Akers going crazy. I wonder if he's even going to play again this year. It doesn't sound like he's on the good list here for Sean McVay.
No, and they're already saying they're going to seek a trade, and they said it's maybe possibly comes back to the team and plays again, but highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. Let's get to the waiver wire, Dave. Who do you have?
One of my favorite ones is right topping off, Marcus Mariota. We keep writing this guy off, but he keeps playing. He keeps balling. He had another good week this week, and he helped the Falcons beat the 49ers this week. Only 14% owned right now. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, too, who's actually been starting, 39% owned. So if either one of them, you need a quarterback for the bye, definitely look at one of them. Kenyon Drake for the Ravens. Injury we did not discuss. J.K. Dobbins did bang up his knee. He had some knee issues mid-game. Did have to sit. Drake took advantage, 10 carries, 119 yards, and a touchdown. So Kenyon Drake, if Dobbins does miss time.
He was amazing this week.
Yes, for once. Kenyon Drake's times, but he did have a good game this past game. But Gus Edwards is coming back, though, only 14% owned. So he might be the guy you really want, though, because I think he's going to be taking over that backfield if Dobbins is injured and he is activated. So then Mike Boone and Latavius Murray, only 40% and 14% owned. But most people probably picked them up previous week. So the guy I want to talk about, Deion Jackson. He did get banged up this past week. He did have himself a day, though. 42 yards rushing, a score, and 12 carries. And he had 10 catches on 10 targets for 79 yards.
Pretty sure I played him against you this week, Dave.
I know. I had him in one of my leagues and I benched him, so that's kind of kicking myself for that. But did leave with a quad injury. But if he does play and Taylor is out for another week, definitely a guy you'd want to start this week.
No, I played Drake against you. I played Deion Jackson in your league. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
I still won in my league anyways, though. So I dominated my league. So. But then Kyren Williams is a nice sleeper, only 8% owned with the Cam Akers blow up and him possibly getting traded. Kyren Williams is a rookie they really liked at the beginning of the year. 3-down stud at Notre Dame last season, 5th-round pick this year. They really like this guy. He just came off he's going to be coming off the IR, and he could possibly get some carries and even start possibly. So flyer you might want to take on the waiver wire if you need some. And then Doyle Robinson had himself a nice day. He played limited snaps, but he's only going to keep playing more. They tried to get him the ball every time he was on the field.
Nice. I have a few, and I put Robbie Anderson there, but it's very speculative. I don't think he does a lot. Marquise Brown's probably not too bad. He might miss a few weeks, but
they said maybe 6 weeks now is what they're saying.
Okay. Well, Wan'Dale Robinson did you say Wan'Dale Robinson? I know you said Robinson.
Wan'Dale, yes, I did say.
Yeah, Wan'Dale. Okay, yeah, he's a good look for sure this week for the Giants. They're doing really well, and Tony's been hurt a lot. Tight end Hunter Henry's in a lot of leagues available. 7 targets and a touchdown last week. Paris Campbell finally comes out of nowhere and gets his first touchdown, maybe of his career. And he actually had 11 targets this week. What's up, Colts? They're kind of all over the place. I'm confused
They are.
by the Colts offense right now. It's just been so weird and so tough this year. Kenyon Drake, what like you said, massive this week, just massive. And I wonder if he's going to be a split time with Dobbins, if not more. He looked better. I mean, he was just shucking and jiving out there, man. I was really impressed by Kenyon Drake. Taylor Heineke for the Wentz injury is obvious. You could say Mitch. I wouldn't pick up Mitch unless you're desperate. Maybe you were starting Kenny Pickett. Maybe it's a 2 quarterback league. But Mitch, you'd have to pick up if it's 2 quarterback league. But if not, I'm not big on him. What I did like was Tyquan Thornton, the rookie, for
that's a good pickup. Yes,
the Patriots. Yeah, he's finally healthy, and he had a touchdown this week, 5 targets. So I'm pretty impressed with what Tyquan Thornton did this week as well. So that's what I have for the waivers, Dave.
And then also Alex Pierce too is another one to throw in there too. He had himself a nice game this week as well. Rookie for the Colts. Matt Ryan was going his way quite a bit this week. If the Colts can keep up with their hot offense and not play like they did the week before or the last couple of weeks, they can keep this up. That he can be a very valuable wide receiver down the road too.
There you go. Let's go to non-starters trending up for week 7. I'll start with Romeo Doubs. I think with Cobb out, he's just going to be huge against a terrible Washington team. So I like a pissed off Rodgers throwing to Dobbs. Tight end Robert Tonyan, you might as well throw in there. He's really a non-starter, but I think he's going to be big against the Commanders as well. Tight end OJ Howard. I like him against the Raiders this week, for the Texans. The Texans are kind of sneaky. I wouldn't say definitely not good, but they can hang in there a little bit. And the Raiders are 3rd worst against tight ends, allowing points to tight ends in fantasy. Wide receiver T. Higgins is due for a big game versus Atlanta. I like T. Higgins this week. Chase had his week last week. I think Higgins is big this week. Wide receiver Jalen Waddle versus the Steelers is going to be huge. Maybe you're starting Waddle, maybe not. He was more of a flex guy, but I think most people were probably not starting him, so I had to throw him on the non-starters trending up. Tight end Mike Gesicki had a monster week last week. He's actually available on some waivers, but we've pounded Gesicki to death on our waiver wire the last 2 years, so I'm sick of saying it. But he's a good start versus a bad Steelers team too. And Raheem, might as well throw Raheem Mostert in there too. The Steelers very fraudulent against a struggling Tampa team with hungover Tom Brady there. What's the next one I got? Kenneth Walker. Holy cow, was he good last week? And he's playing the Chargers. The Chargers have a very bad run D. Now, unfortunately, watching this Monday Night Football game, Nathaniel Hackett's too stupid to know this, but you should run the ball versus the Chargers. You're going to get lots of yards. Running back that killed me and that might beat me if me and your game's really tight right now is Ramondre Stevenson. He was massive, and he's the main guy for the Patriots now. He is the guy that you want to own. He's playing the Bears. He's going to have a fantastic week as a non-starter trending up. And Brian Robinson versus that weak Packer D, baby. Oh, man, it feels good to say that, Dave.
Defense is supposed to be good, but they're not.
They're not. They
I
can't
agree with you on that one.
Yeah, Brian Robinson. Plus, after the story with his leg getting shot and everything and robbed, and he's back, and I almost think he's kind of taken away the role now from Gibson. So I like Brian Robinson here on out. Dave, who you got for the non-starters trending up?
Well, I do like Thornton for the Patriots as well, as we were talking about before. He's one of my trending players up. Stevenson as well for the Patriots. So I do agree with you on that one. I'm very high on him as well. Got him in quite a few leagues. So hopefully I beat you with him this week. I do like Tua coming back from injury, playing against the Steelers. They haven't been looking good in defense. I like Tua this week playing them. I do like Kenny Walker III as well against the Chargers. Like you said, they should be running the ball against them all day. I like the Raiders this week. I like Derek Carr against the Texans. I like him as a starter this week. Probably you're not usually starting him. I do like him as trending up this week. I do like Breece Hall against the Broncos. He's been splitting carries, but now he's taking over that backfield. But Breece Hall, I've been starting in a couple of my fantasy leagues this past couple of weeks, and he's been huge for me. I hate to say this, but he shredded the Packers this past week as well. He's the real deal. He definitely was worth the #1 pick in your dynasty league, so proving it right now. I look for Aaron Jones to bounce back, but he's not a trending up guy. But I do like Brian Robinson as well. He did have a touchdown and over 17 carries this past week. Only compared to like 5 or 6 carries for Gibson, so he's definitely taking over that backfield. I like Deion Jackson if Taylor is out again this week. So we'll keep an eye on that. Trevor Lawrence has been playing well the last couple of weeks. I do like him against the Giants defense. I do like Dwell Robinson as well against the Jaguars. So that's another guy we talked about before. I like him too as well. And I do like Algier against the Bengals defense. Bengals haven't been playing really well either. I like him at running back. Falcons have been running the ball quite a bit this year as well. So those are some of the guys I like trending up.
Yep, there you go. No, I like those as well. So those are non-starters trending up for week 7 to win your fantasy week. Who are your busts, Dave?
All right. Well, any running back that's playing the Saints. So those Cardinals, downgrading all those running backs. None of them have looked well. I think Connor's going to be out for a little bit longer now. None of the Cardinals running backs impressed me. So I'm downgrading the running back for the Cardinals, depending on who's playing and starting. Downgrading the running backs for the Ravens as well. Cleveland doesn't have that great of a defense, but they're just in shambles right now at the Ravens. They've lost like 3 straight now. So that backfield's a little bit of a mess. So I'm downgrading Dobbins this week and Edwards if he plays, and Drake. So I don't like them against the Cleveland this week, especially with Lamar taking a lot of those carries away from them as well. So I get them trending down a little bit. I got CMC trending down a little bit against a tough Tampa D. They got to come back and win here too. They took a bad loss this past week to Atlanta. So I'm still starting the CMC, but he's just trending down a little bit because he's playing a tougher defense this week. So he might not have his regular 100-yard game and 5-6 catches. So, but he'll still get you what he needs to get for you. And then I do like the Lions coming off a bye. I like Jared Goff against the Cowboys. So, but I do not like the running backs this week against the tough Dallas D-line. Their D-line has been looking awesome. Lawrence, Armstrong, Parsons. The defense is looking good for the Cowboys. So I'm not liking Jamal Williams this week or Swift if he's back against the tough Cowboys D. I do not like Brian Robinson. I think we said he was trending up. I do not like Heineke against the Packers D. I think they get a little pressure on him and confuse him a little bit and think they end up winning that game. But it's going to be a little tough for him to do that. And then
I don't like anybody on Washington that much. Let's be fair.
I'm gone good in Heineke in that receiving core. I don't know. I don't really like him this week against them. And then I'm actually downgrading the Chiefs running backs against Frisco. I think Frisco pounces back on defense this week. And I don't like Clyde Edwards-Helaire or McKinnon against the 49ers tough D.
What I will say is 49ers secondary is so banged up right now. It's not a terrible look to just start some of those no names, I guess, for the Chiefs. So their second string receivers. I mean, Hardwell is one of them. Obviously, that's maybe people start him already. Juju Smith-Schuster probably, right?
Yeah,
you want to start those. Yeah, you got to start those guys against a really banged up Niners secondary. They got guys off their practice squad coming in and stuff. All right, my busts are like Garrett Wilson versus the Broncos. I think the Broncos, still really good D. Russell Wilson's like a box of chocolates, so you don't know what you're going to get. But their D always shows up, so I like that. Watching this game, I mean, it's in the fourth quarter here. They held the Chargers at home to 13 points so far. So it's just that they can't score ever. Running back, I agree with James Conner and everybody on the, Benjamin, Darrell Williams, if he's healthy. None of those are going to be that good against the Saints. Running back DeAndre Swift will bust versus the Cowboys, so I agree with that. And Jamal Williams, so I had those guys. Marcus Mariota might bust against the Bengals, I must say. I understand owning him. It's just kind of a weird spot after a big win against San Fran on the road now, finally, and it seems a little tough to me. So, CMC, I put him as a bust, man. The Buccaneers have to be pissed here, and they just we don't know who's starting at quarterback. That always hurts. They're going to spy McCaffrey. I mean, that's really their only weapon, him and Davis, and man, just owning anybody on the Panthers must be very frustrating right now. Nick Chubb is going to have it rough against the Ravens. I don't know if you cannot start him, but Kareem Hunt, you can probably not start. I wouldn't say Kareem Hunt. He's probably a bust. So those are my busts, Dave. Um, you agree with all those?
I do. Yeah, I like the Hunt one. I was actually looking at Chubb before, but I was like, I couldn't really downgrade Hunt and Chubb because he's having such a great year. But I do like the Hunt one. When you said Hunt, I agree with that 100%.
All right, sounds good. Nasty sleeper time, Dave. And I'm looking forward to hearing how you're going to hate on my Chicago Bears.
All right, the nasty sleeper of the week this week, Romeo Dobbs. I need something good for me this week, so I need to look for Dobbs to have a big day. Cobb's out. Rodgers has got to lean on him a little bit more now. I think Dobbs has a huge week, and he could be a fantasy winner for you with those top receivers out this weekend by.
I agree with you because I had him as my trending up. So big time for Dobbs. I'm on his corner. I almost picked him too. And I thought about Ramondre Stevenson, but I think it's too obvious. You know, not the Harris is out. He's a starter now. So I can't really use him as a nasty sleeper, but Kenneth Walker is my nasty sleeper. He's and Penny's out, and you know, people probably have 3 or 4 running backs, and one of them is Kenneth Walker, and they wonder if they should start. Yeah, he's a starter against the Chargers this week. So he's my nasty sleeper. I think he's going to be fantastic. And the Seahawks just have an offense. They have a terrible defense, so they're always in the game. And Walker was a stud last week. Couldn't get tackled, really. So really liking Walker and what he's doing. All right, Dave. Anything else we missed?
No, just make sure you get those guys that are on bye out of your lineups. Try and pick up guys to fill in. Some of the guys that we talked about tonight, get those guys in your lineups to fill in for those buys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you have any questions for Dave or I, please tweet us at the Oddsbreakers. Have a great rest of your week and go get some winners.